Hi, how to add a stateful widget. So before we start doing this, let's open a new Flutter project and give it a name, Flutter Stateful. And hit next. Because it shows step 3, let's say Flutter 3. Stateful. And hit next and hit finish. All right. Okay, that was a quick. Stateless widgets are immutable, meaning that their properties can't change. All values are final. So they don't change the values, okay. Stateful widgets maintain state that might change during the lifetime of the widget. Implementing stateful widget requires at least two classes. A stateful widget class that creates an instance of a state class. So we need a stateful and a state, and this creates an instance of that. Okay. The stateful widget class is itself immutable and can be thrown away and regenerated, but the state class persists over the lifetime of the widget. Okay, that's okay. In this step, you will add stateful widgets, random words, which creates its state class. Random word state, you will use random words as a child inside my app stateless widget. Okay. Create the boilerplate code for a stateful widget. In the library main.dat, position your cursor after the code and enter return a couple of times to start one fresh line in your IDE. Start typing stateful. Okay, so here go to start a fresh new one. They're asking your permission to send information about configuration. Do not share. Anyhow, okay. So try to share something. By the way, these colorful thingies I found while I was playing in the preferences under the plugins and the marketplace. I found a few. I was playing here and I found a few interesting plugins, and one of them is the rainbow bracket. It changes the color of the bracket so it became like easier to read, and one of them is the enhancement suite, and one of them is the material theme, and I think they are not harmful. So far I didn't face problems. I didn't really do any coding. Yeah, but just these. So the material theme, the rainbow brackets, and the better comments, and this atom material icons. This changes the icon, custom files and IDE icons for improved visual. Yeah. So when I installed this and enabled them all, it changes the way it became more colorful, and it's not busy or silly, so I like it. Yeah, so it became more colorful. Okay, so going back here and it says go to all the way down, then type something. Stateful, Stful. So Stful, and hit enter. So when I tried that, it added all this to me and became blinking here. So it says stateful widget, right? Something extends stateful widget, and class states extend the state. Okay. All right. In your IDE, start typing state stateful. So this came when I typed. I'm gonna do it again. Stful and hit enter. So it creates all this every time we type Stful and hit enter. It creates this thing. All right, so yeah, it creates this Stful, just like that. The editor asks if you want to create stateful widget. Press return to accept. Yeah, I hit enter. The boilerplate code for the two classes appear. Yeah, I see two classes here. Just the boilerplate, okay. And the cursor is positioning you to enter the name of your stateful widget. Okay, so if I type STFL, I don't want to type STFL, I will just type widget. Okay, so it looks like it did something here as well. Okay. Enter random words as the name of your widget. Okay, instead of that, I will be entering random words. Okay, change that as well. Okay, that's interesting. The random words widget does a little else besides creating its state class. Once you entered random words as the name of the stateful widget, the IDE automatically updates the accompanying state class, naming it random word state. Random word state, just like here. Okay. By default, the name of the state class is prefixed as an underbar. Yeah, I see underbar here. So now it's called underbar. Usually we call it underscore, right? Anyhow. Okay. Prefixing an identifier with underscore enforces privacy in the Dart language and is recommended best practice for state objects. So all state objects should start with this underscore or underbar for privacy. Okay, that's interesting. The IDE also automatically updates the state class to extend state random words, indicating where does, okay, here we go. Indicating you are using a generic state class specialized for use with random words. Most of the app's logic resides here. It maintains the state for the word random widget. This class saves the list of generated word pairs, which grows infinitely as the user scrolls in part 2 of this lab. Favorites word pair as the user adds or removes them from the list by toggling the heart icon. So there will be a heart icon. Both classes now looks as follows. So this should be exactly similar to that. Oops, what did I click? So let's compare them. Do they look alike? So the first line, class random words extends stateful widget class random words extends. Okay. And then the second line, constant super key. Well, this is not exactly the same. This says random words, bracket super dot key. So here it shows key, then question mark, then key. Then colon, then super key, colon key. The override is the same. The random, it's different. Create state is the same. This is the same. So it's not really 100% matching with what the website's saying, but that's fine. So here's the same. The override is the same. The widget build is the same. Everything else the same. So this lower part is 100% the same. This top part is the same. This override is the same. So only this line here at the beginning is different, right? And yeah, I didn't change mine because it's auto-generated, so I'm just leaving, but just comparing the two. And this one is different. Anyhow, let's go back and see. Update the build method in random words class, override, widget build, the main library. All right, so here it shows update the build method in random and remove the word generation code from my app by making changes shown in the following. So change it to show this. Random words. Final random words. Body. Then random words. Okay. Restart the app. The app should behave as before, displaying a word pairing each time a hot reload or save the app. Each time we hit hot reload, it should behave like that. Okay. So it's a modification to the previous one, not really a fresh new one like I did. Okay, but the difference is now it's a stateful instead of stateless widget. Okay, stateful widget. So let's take the code from the previous one and modify it. Okay. So this is the code. Control A, Control C, copy. And keep the stateful widget because we will be using it. The one at the very bottom. So I deleted all this and I will paste whatever I copied from the website. I needed to do the same for the pub/spec YAML and do the changes, like update the packages, because some packages are dated. Like the website is written at a time, then Flutter got updated. Okay, so now pub/get. Okay, I think I need to save all. And pub/spec is okay. So I need to go back to the library and Dart main and get dependencies and start running. Let's see how it goes. This is the very old one. Then I will start updating it with the new changes to use the stateful widget that's been added down there but not used. So any change, that's how I work. Any change, I try to run it first to make sure it works. Then apply a minor change, then run it, then apply a minor change, then run it, and keep going like that. So each time a hot reload, this bushy drop became plain rat, became deep bed, then COM-C, yeah, just like that. So now I will stop it and close this. And I can do the following as well. I can, so this is the old one, and here's the new one, right? So we have two now. Okay. So what was the changes? Okay, it says both classes are shown. Update the build method in the random word state. So return worker. Okay. So widget build final worker return. So widget build final and return. And close it. So here's the random word state extends. Underscore. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I misunderstood, so I'm gonna undo. 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 Okay, so it was talking about here. We type final, then word pair equals to word pair is random. And return text. Okay. So this part, I'll remove the word generated on my app by making changes shown in the following draft. Okay, so we remove that from here, and we remove this from here. So we go back to the word generation from my app. So we go back to the my app and remove this, right? Okay. I remove after the center child, remove text and anything inside the text and keep the brackets and the comma. Okay. Then we add something called body, center, child, random words. So here's the body, here's the constant, center, child, random words, just like that. Restart the app. Okay. All right, let's see if it works. It worked. Now stateful widget. Okay. Just removing this comment. So this called this stateful widget, and this called this private, which made a build and generated and returned the text. And it showed here. So this child is a text because this return. So it goes to it calls, this one is calling the stateful widget here, which by itself calls this private class. All right. We applied that. Restart the app. The app should behave as before, displaying a word pairing each time you hot reload or save the app. Yes, it did the work. If you see a warning on hot reload that you may need to restart the app, consider restarting it. Warning might be a false positive, but restarting your app ensures your changes are reflected. Okay. Problems: if your app is not running correctly, look for typos. If you want to try Flutter debugging. Okay, and here's the code. And it looks like the one we have, except the notes. Ours is not full of notes. Okay, interesting. And in the next video, we'll be talking about the creating infinite scrolling list view. So this video was about the stateful widget, adding a stateful widget. See you in step 4 in the next video. Bye.